Hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. How are you guys? It's been a while. I've had a pretty hectic few weeks. There's been a lot going on. So I haven't been streaming. I haven't been doing much work on my game or my Tool Jam entry, yeah, which is rapidly running out of time now. I see there are a couple of people have actually posted their entries on the Jam website. So definitely worth checking them out. I haven't checked them out myself, but I've seen the screenshots and the descriptions, and they look really cool. So yeah, definitely give that a go. There's the obligatory Jam shout out. So yeah, but yes, finally got a little bit of time tonight, so said I'll do a stream now and carry on with this project. And yeah, I've done a little bit of work on it in over the last week or two. Not much at all. But yeah, I can't remember exactly where we were the last time, but I think I had just gotten the subtask, the copying subtask working with files, and I just had to get it working with directories. So I have to kind of recursively scan directories. So I've got some of that on. I've got some of that sorted now, I think. So what I have is a drawer copy function. So as well as the file copy function, which is up here, and that's our original function that opens the file, the destination file, and copies everything across. We've also got the file copying function over here. So sorry, just yeah, that's okay. Sorry, I'm after losing a window here. Yes, all good. Yeah. So we have our file copy function. As I was saying, that copies an actual file, but it knows it can't copy a directory. So it's not like the copy command in the shell, which will just copy whatever name you give it. It will copy a file. So I need a separate function for copying directories. Now, if we go down to the main part of the executable down here, you can see how we handle it. So we basically check. So we have a list of icons that are selected. So this isn't the entire list of possible files in that directory. This is just the icons that are detected, that are selected on Workbench. So I've got this list of names, and because they're icons selected on Workbench, you don't actually know whether they're icon files or not. Well, you know that each of them represents a file. You don't know whether they have an actual icon, whether it's just an icon, or whether they actually have an icon or it's a default icon. So we check that, and then we try and copy the icon using the same function, the same file copy. But what we do is we just check if it's a directory, we will do a drawer copy, and if it's not, then we check if it's a file, and we do a file copy. Now the reason I've done that nested second if, and in some languages that would be an else if command to make it a little bit neater, but this does the same thing, is because you can't just assume that an icon is a file because it's not a directory, because you've got a load of other icon types like disks and trash cans and app icons, which are not app icons are icons that a program opens itself. So if you don't know what an app icon is, like for example the clock, see, it's an icon. You can snapshot it. You can do things like that and unsnapshot. You can open it, and it gives you the settings. So that's a 3.9. That's an anim icon. So you can't copy that. It's a program. It's a program's output effectively. So you can't copy that at all. But you sometimes see app icons as well. Like Personal Paint, I think, has one, and it's like a little drop icon. So if you drop files onto it, it loads them into the editor. So there are a few programs that do that. So they're different icon types that you can't copy, and it's just kind of neater to ignore them altogether rather than handle it as an error. So if it turns out that it's a file, it will do a file copy, and that's fine. Okay, so our drawer copy routine, which I added there the other day, is kind of half working. So we have, what we try to do first off is we try and create the directory, the destination directory if it's a drawer. So So what we do then is yeah, so basically we try to create the directory, but we don't continue based on whether that was successful or not. And the reason for that is because if you check for success there, what'll happen is it will fail if the drawer already exists. But it's quite possible and quite, and it'll happen often that if you're copying files, that a directory already exists because you just want to like update the files in that directory or something like that. So quite often you will have the directory existing, and that's not a reason to fail. It's just that you couldn't create the directory because it already existed. So what we do instead is we check if it actually exists. Although now I'm thinking that we should do isdir instead, because if we do isdir, then we know for sure that it's a drawer directory, and because if it exists, it might be a file, and that will also be a reason that a copy will fail. But it means that the directory doesn't exist. So if you have, for example, if you're trying to copy like your prefs directory, but to somewhere, and it has a file called prefs, you won't be able to create that directory, but it will return true if it exists. So yeah, so I've just changed that now. So isdir makes more sense there. So what we do then is we make a new list, a list directory, and it has a 0 there, which means it's a dynamic array, so it'll just get bigger as we add things to it. So next we could have a repeat until here, and this will tell us basically we do this to cycle through the files in a particular directory. Now we do this, what we're doing is we're reading in the current directory into the list that we just set up there. And the reason we're doing that and not cycling through, like we do this all at the first before we actually deal with the list of files, but the reason we're doing that first instead of just scanning and going to the next directory or the next file and dealing with that is if we have another subdirectory, we want to be able to run this function recursively, and that means it needs to be reentrant, and that means you cannot have functions that rely on common variables outside the directory, unless that's part of their function, obviously. But using these Amiga Blitz functions, they will, like for example, this scanner keeps track of where it is in the directory. So each time you call that function, it lists the next file in the directory. But if you call a subdirectory, it will reset and it'll start again at the start of that directory. So when you return to the previous folder or directory, it doesn't know where it was. So you can't really nest that function. So you need to read the entire list in, and then it's stored in this local variable or this local array, which will be, and a new copy of that will be created for each subsequent depth of the recursion. So each one has a separate list. So you read in the full array, and then you don't need to worry about the DOS library and its external let's call it a pointer, the handle or whatever for the current file. Kind of description, but I hope that makes sense. Anyways, that's why we do that separately. So it's a slightly less efficient speed-wise, but we kind of have to do it that way because of the functions that we're using. So now we reset the list to the start. So we've got this list, the dir list string, is a list of all the file names, and it's a list of everything in that directory. And then we step through that one at a time while next item. If there's nothing in the directory, next item won't run, will return false, and so we'll skip straight past there to end while, and we'll fall at the bottom there. But if there is something in the list, reset list brings it back to like the before the first item, and then next item will choose the first item and then each subsequent item on each iteration. And then we do the same as we did on the main list. We check if it's a directory, we'll do the drawer copy on it, and if it's a file, we do the file copy on it. And it's kind of as simple as that. I don't have any of the error handling in there yet or anything like that, so we'll have to deal with that a little bit later. But yeah, that's kind of it. And you can see there that this function will call itself the drawer copy. Now, we are calling result equals true if basically if that directory exists. So it's kind of assuming that we were able to copy stuff into it. For now, that will probably do, but it might be better to sort of cascade the result from any further recursions of this function, if that makes sense. So if a subdirectory fails, then that fail gets carried back so that, you know, there was a failure or an error somewhere in the chain. So yeah, so we might add that afterwards, but for now it will do like that, I think, because I haven't tried it. Anyway, now I do have a success flag here, and I can't remember why I was going to do something with that success flag. Oh yes, because basically if we copy it, we should also check for an icon and copy that as well, a matching icon. Now, here's the thing. In Workbench, you get an icon if you have an icon file, even if there's no actual main file to go with it. So down here in my copy routine, you will see that I will check. So if the file was copied successfully, you can see it here, then we print out a little debug message, and then we check if a .info file exists in that path. Hey Ollie, welcome in. Welcome in. How are you? Have you recovered? Last weekend we had the inaugural Terrible Bytes Amiga event, where we all went to Terrible Fire's house and got very, very drunk and did lots of Amiga stuff, and that was it. And it was excellent. And I damaged my ankle on the way home one of the nights, because yeah, there you go. So I was in A&E today getting it x-rayed, and seems that it's all okay, but yeah, fun times. I left it until now and it just wasn't getting better, and I was like, okay, I better get this checked out. But anyways, there you go. Oh, down there he is. There's the man himself. a nunnery. Excellent. Nunnery. Yeah, feel mildly offended about that, or by that. Anyways, yes, careful now. But yeah, so yeah, that was it. That was sort of in the place of well, it was kind of a Scottish Amiga user group meetup, and it was good fun. It was, yeah, like I say, it was a heavy all weekend, and I know a couple of the guys had an extra night on it, and yeah, it was all good fun. Yeah, I never even thought of that. I just went straight to Queen Elizabeth, but I was in and out in less than 2 hours, which I suppose is not bad, all things considered. So yeah, it was all right. But yeah, so yeah, there we go. Anyways, yeah, so recursion and all that good stuff. Now, what I will say about recursion is it yeah, the place was surprisingly not bad. There were some mini kegs on the go, so there weren't, the place wasn't full of empty cans and stuff like that. It was all very civilized, really. But yeah, it was a great L event. I'll actually give a shout out to the Scottish group. Here we go. There you go. We have our the main. It's kind of quiet enough, but you can join us on Facebook. There's the Scottish Amiga user groups, mostly based in Glasgow, but sometimes we have events. I say sometimes. We once had an event over the East Coast, and yeah, go and join in. And yes, so yeah, so here we are copying an icon if the copy was successful, but I don't think we need to worry about that because, or I think we shouldn't worry about that because I think, yeah, we should do an if success here and get it out of there, because sometimes you can have a file that's just an icon and doesn't have a main file associated with it. And sometimes that's even a legitimate thing. It's not just a mistake, because you can use an empty icon to launch an application with the default tool setting. So it is sometimes used as a kind of just as a launcher. And yeah, so it would be a bit of a mess if it didn't get copied for whatever reason. So we're going to take out that check and we're just going to copy the file directly. And just check if an actual file icon exists, and then that's it. And here we go. And if success was false, we'll do that. Yeah, there were some caravans on the lawn outside the castle, which I'm sure the neighbors were delighted with. What am I trying to say here? If not success, if success. And that's just a debug output, so we'll have to change that as well. So yeah, so the whole neighborhood's returned to normal now. But yeah, okay. So there we go. That should copy our icon. We'll have to do the same thing up above, and what we'll do is, oh, that's what I wanted. That's, see, yeah. That's why I had it there, just for the debug output. Copied successfully. And file copy. So we copied this code and we copied into our recursive routine up here, which is here. No, drawer copy, dir copy, drawer copy. We're mixing my paradigms here. It's that's going to bite me in the ass at some time later on. I know it. Okay, so is file. So this is where we're copying. Where we go to the next item in the dir list. So we either copy it if it's a drawer or if it's a file, and then either way, regardless of whether it is either of those things, we should copy the associated .info file. Sorry, I meant to skip a line there. So, if exists, okay, it's not called full paths, it's called dest string. Full dest is equal to icon full paths dest string, and it's not an array. And icon full dest is equal to .info. We don't really need that, but yeah, we'll get it anyway because it is a function, and yeah, at some point we might do something with it if it's, you know, we might add a logging system so we can see what's after failing, something like that. There we go. Okay. Now, so that's it. I think we might try it. We might test it. See how badly we can mangle our files and crash the system. Okay, so for that we need to go to our, oh yeah, no we don't actually, this isn't a sub program, it's a separate executable. Let's see if it compiles first actually. No. Oh yeah, I did. Exists. drawer copy. Oh yeah. So let's change these. Sorry, these are copied from elsewhere. So oh, let me see. What am I thinking? This might be the wrong way to go about things because we don't have the actual file name. So the destination is a directory. Is there? Okay, so destination. So a dir list. Directory list. Now, that's not what we wanted, so I foresee some problems here to do with if the directory has a trailing colon, you can't just add a .info to it and get the icons, or get the folder's icon, the drawer's icon. Let's see if that even compiles. Compiled anyway, that's fine. Okay. Okay, let's make an executable out of that. And give it a run. Give it a run. Let's also compile this one. Let's run our debugger, will we? Turn on the debugger. We're running. Now, where are my test folders? Test drawers. Test 2. Okay, so let's make, as usual, make the RAM disk our destination directory. So open this drawer. Let's first off make sure that these all work. So where did they go? Send. Nothing happening. Why? Why nothing happening? Why? Let's see. Let's go in here. Okay, so they copied without their icons. How did I mess that up? That was working. We were copying icons. Let's see. What happened? What happened? So this was just copying files. This wasn't copying directories. So we just go through our icons and copying that. And then we've changed that. So oh, did I change these? If exists. I did. I changed these here instead. Oh. Oh, I messed up these. Where's full dest? Full dest already exists, so it's just a dot icon. So, okay, yes, sorry, I modified that one. I shouldn't have. Let's try that again. Nope. Compile the parent program. Running. Let's move it down a bit. Now, okay. Preliminary test. So destination is RAM disk. Now copy. Okay, now we have all three programs, all three files copied over. That's fine. Excellent. Let's make a new directory here. In test2 called test2. We should probably rename that test3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy them and paste them in there. Can I paste them? I'm not sure why the menus aren't working now. I'll have to check that out as well. But okay. So test 3. What I'll do as well is I'm going to rename all these three. And that's the rename button as well. So, because I want to be able to tell that they're not the same ones. If that makes sense. Because I don't want to end up in having the test3 directory there full of these files. It should be full of these files. So I should be able to identify them. So here goes first test of the directory. Oh, let's delete all these just to be sure. Sure. And we have a drawer. It looks like a drawer. It is there. It has nothing in it. Nothing in it. But we created a directory. That's a good first step. And the directory had its icon, which is excellent. Okay, so let's see. So we created the directory. So we went to copy dir, a drawer copy. We created the directory, DOS create dir. If DOS is dir, now where are we stopping here? We need to do some debugging around here. That's tricky to debug because you can't actually insert a breakpoint here because we're not running this program from the editor. This is compiled into an executable. It's the parent program running from the editor. So we need to do some debug output on it. Now, let me see. Where drawer help copy is. So we run it asynchronously. Okay, and we get our output to we do get some debug output. That's fine, excellent. It's in the T directory, which is the temp directory. And see. So losing my concentration. It's been a busy week. It really has. So let's see. So okay, so let's start creating some and we're going to do that one, isn't it? That's a quote. So let's see. So let's see if that let's see what that does. Oh yeah. Okay, so now, oh, I keep on doing that. Compile this one. Oh well, we should get a whoop alert, shouldn't we? Ah dear. Yeah. Okay, so let's try this now. So we got that and that. Let's highlight all these. Oh, that's our destination. And copy them all. What's in here? Still nothing? Still nothing. Okay. Indeed. But okay, let's have a look at what this debug output says. Item. So the drawer exists. So we've created our drawer. And item. Closer. And the .info is added, and the .info is added as well. Okay, so we actually don't need to copy the icon separately in these cases because, yes, because we're scanning the directory separately. We're not using Workbench anymore. So we see the icons just as files. Okay, so that's fine. Great, they're all being added to the list. Why aren't they copying? Why aren't they copying? Why? Why you no copy? Okay. But yeah, cool. We don't need this bit. Okay, so let's see if we can get an output from our current dir list string. Dir list string to destination string. We just copy that line, stick it down here. Now, let's see if that works. Or, well, it won't work, but let's see what it says we're trying to do. Hey, Sin Lau, welcome in. How are you? How are you? I haven't seen you in a little while. How are you getting on? We are just trying to get a recursive copy program working. And yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. So I'm just going to go over here and compile this big sprawl. And very cluttery. Oh yeah. Here we go, and here we go. So we're going to say our RAM disk is our destination directory, and we're going to copy all of these. So all the icons show up, they're all correct, present and correct. Test 3 has nothing in it. Just checking again, although I know I haven't changed the code, so it's still going to be missing. Okay. I'm going to delete all them and see what the log file says now. So it's a cool version of that song. These are all added to the list. Every single file that should be added to the list is added to the list, but then it's copying blank. Copying blank, 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 blank. Why? Why? What's happened here? So, oh, Jesus! I've missed the brackets off this, so it's storing them in a temporary thing. Oh, that bugs me. It's a bug that I put there. It bugs me because Blitz normally catches them, but it doesn't catch it when it's a string. So I've just been assigning it and dumping it. So that should be it. And now I've got all this debug output that I don't need. That's fine. Fine. Let's compile that again. And let's run it again. Run it again. I probably don't need this debugger anymore. Let's see. Destination. Let's try again. Let's try again. Okay, still nothing. But what does the log file say? Okay. Copying. Okay, so it's trying to copy test2 test3 closer .readme3. That's fine. So it's copying from files test2 test3 closer to RAM disk test3. That's correct, isn't it? Test3. Oh, do we have to put the file name on the end? We have to pull the file name from that and add it to the path. We're doing a literal copy, so we need to specify the destination file name. That's what it is, I'd say. That's what I think. So, yeah, so what we have to do is files from, we have to add test3 / closer.readme3. Let's try that. So so what we need to do is file name string is equal to DOS file part So that's it now. So now we've got a file name. So full destination is equal to DOS add part. And what's the path part and file part? So path part is destination string and that should be it. That should be it. I've said that a few times. Let's do this. Now that's unrelated to anything. I'm just getting text there. It's my 20-year uni reunion. Oh, God, how depressing is that? Oh, it's 20 years since I graduated. Oh. Oh well. Okay, so I've compiled that. Let's run it, see what happens. Did you go to your reunion though, or are they all shite? I went to the 10-year one. I was kind of like, yeah, that's all right, but it was a bit, I don't know. Oh, wrong button. Okay, here we go. Now it's going to work this time, isn't it? Let's copy them over. No, it didn't work. Why? What? Files from. Ah, Jesus! I didn't. Oh, Rob. I didn't add the actual full destination to the copy. This didn't change a thing. Now. Yeah, well, that's it. That's it. We've got a group of all the uni friends and we get together whenever, and that's kind of it. Yeah, it was weird. It was like when I went even just as a 10-year one, I was like, yeah, half the people I recognize. Just went to the bar with a few of the regulars. That was kind of it. Yeah, it was a funny one. I also remember that we were chatting, like some of my friends have been very close with with some of the lecturers and had done their PhDs there and stuff like that. So they were quite close with them all. Lecturers didn't have a clue who I was. I was like, oh, where are you in the same class? I'm like, thanks. Oh well. Clearly didn't make an impression. That's a good thing, I suppose. Mid-table obscurity. Okay, let's compile that. Oh, and compile that. I'm going to switch off the debugger. One of these compiles, I'm going to switch it off. And let's get rid of these bits. Yay! It works. It works. So they're the version 3s of each of those files. Now you know what we need. Just test the recursion. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's swap them around then. So we've got some extra recursion going on there. Now, fly, my pretties. It's working. Oh, it's working. Recursion. That is as far as I'm going to test that. But realistically, once it's working to a few levels, it'll work to all levels, provided it has enough stack. So what'll happen is, when you recurse like that, you start adding loads of stuff onto the stack, because each previous layer, all the pointers to the arguments and stuff like that get put on the stack, and which is fine, and all the variables, that's fine, except that if you've got like 100 directories deep, you probably run out of stack, you know. So you need to, yeah, on the Amiga you can run some programs that'll kind of catch issues with the stack, like Stack Attack, and there's a few others that do it, and they'll solve it for you. But I'll try and do some tests to make sure it works reasonably well with the stack that I give it in the icon. Like if you go into the icon information there's a stack size here, 4K of stack. It should be enough. I'm not storing it. There's not a huge amount of information on it. But like I say, if for some crazy reason you've got 20 directories deep, it might fall on its arse and bring the system down with it. I might ship it with a default of 16K or something like that. We'll see what happens. Anyways, that works. So recursive directory copying. It was also too quick to open what's it called, a progress bar. Or did I even implement the progress bar? So I'm going to copy those files again and slow the CPU right down. It is emulated, so it is one of the good things with emulations that you can test this at like A1200 speed. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it did open a progress bar. It was just too quick. Excellent. Now, the progress bar is based on these. So you can see it's as far as it's concerned, this is only 4 items to copy, and it doesn't take into account the sizes of them. To do that, you would need to recurse through all the directories first and then gather all the files. And to be even more accurate, you would recurse through all the directories and get all the file sizes before you copy them. And that is what like a modern OS would do. On the Amiga, it depends heavily, because that's a lot of directory accesses. It depends heavily on the speed of your drives, the speed of your system, the file system, the caches, the buffers that your file system has allocated. Loads of different factors all feed into it. But by default, with a slow Amiga, it's going to be very slow, especially if you pick a folder with hundreds of images in it or hundreds of files in it. It will take quite a while for it to gather all that information before it starts copying. So I don't know if I'll do that. If I have time, I might add it as an option, so you can disable it. You can enable it to get a better, a more accurate progress bar. But for now, I think that is okay for that function. Okay, so that's cool. That's working. Oh, I was going to add a select all button. I don't know how to draw an icon for a select all button. I was also thinking, should I have a sort of a recessed bar to separate this different sections? I know I put a little spacer in there, but I could do a little recessed bar. But I have to, prioritize some of these things. Like, what am I going to use more? What will people use more? Because these are kind of added in the order that I added them. in the order I kind of thought about them. So we can sort icons, rename. We can choose text or icon modes. And you can rename files there. So these are kind of See, select all is already there with Amiga A. So it's very easy to implement. I just put a button and call the workbench function for select contents. But it might be nice just to be able to select a pattern. So, so it gives you a little requester and you can type in wildcard.txt or something like that and let it just select all the text files. That might be nice. Might be nice. I wonder. Yeah, I might just do that. But I'll have to add an icon afterwards. But it's a very simple implementation. But we'll do that anyway. Let's see. Where were we? Rename, open. Okay. So what are we gonna select all 20. Copy to view open. So we just need a new case further down here. See what one of the other simple ones. Icon view. So it's just going to be basically a copy of one of these ones. Send message, menu window, window dot select all. I'm going to guess. I have to look up the documentation for that. Let me pop out of that world for a moment. And call up the workbench autodocs. Workbench control. Oh no, it's the ARX interface we want. Menu. Select contents. Select contents. I think I have a blank icon in the place for that, so what we're going to do is we're going to bump up that date so we can tell. Well, oh god, it's so long since we worked on this. 20th of October. That is, we've got 10 days left on this. Oh good lord. For the love of God, don't panic. So we've got a little sort of internal data set here that describes our toolbar. I'm going to edit that. We're going to add on a 20 at the end. And that should let us, it's going to be invisible. Is it? No, it's not clickable. Why is it not clickable? Oh, I didn't need to close that. I meant to close that one. Or number of gadgets. Let's see, do we have an extra gadget here? We do! Blank gadget, select all. done. I just need to draw an icon for that now, which is fine. I'll do some programmer art for that later. Okay, what's next? Oh, I want to make an editor for this, for the bar, the toolbar, so you can move around the buttons. I also want to see where's the function for building the actual toolbar. Drawer helper funcs, add helper. So So here we are. So if the gadget is 999, it just moves ahead 10 pixels instead of creating a gadget. And if it is a gadget, then it creates that. So yeah, okay, so it's a bit tricky to because if I draw the bar like that, it won't redraw automatically. I need to draw it as a gadget. Let's try a little experiment here. GT Bevel Box. New helper ID is our GT list, which corresponds to the ID of the window. Why is the music stopped? Okay. There we go. Mod archive of player crashed. But it's okay. It's working again. New helper ID. Okay, so bevel box that, and then X is five. X position plus 6, so it's 3 down. This is it. So this 0, 1, 2, so it's 15, 14, so 12, something like that. And what's the last one? What's the last parameter? Oh, come on, stop being a dick. Flags and type. Oh, 2 parameters. Flags, zeros raised or recessed. Standard button. Okay, so raised or recessed. So we might say recessed. Let's just see what that looks like. I actually think this will have to be redrawn as well. So this is probably GT bevel box, GT list, X, Y, width, height, flags. That's everything, isn't it? Constant not found, max helpers. Yeah, don't care about that. What's going on here? Wrong code begins here. X position plus 10. That's that helper, isn't it? Yeah. devil box? Why? I'm sure I've used that elsewhere in here. New helper ID. 0, 0, helper width, helper height, 0. Does it just not like... It says it should take any other value, so let's just copy this one as a... Let's just compare things. New helper ID. Oh, Rob. Oh, it didn't like that at all. What happened here? GT list is not... Oh, we can't draw the box until it actually attaches to the window. So no, that's a no-go, really. I would have to define it as a gadget. That's no good. So let's not bother with that. Let's just leave it as a space. We can adjust the spacing afterwards. Oh no, it's not in that file. It's in this file. Okay, so that should be back where we left it. Oh. Oh. Oh, we've crashed. We have crashed.
Oh dear.
Crash count. Didn't like that previous. The debugger caught it, but I think it caught it just a little bit too late and said, oh, you're after trashing your memory. Oh well. Drawer helper, copy, drawer helper functions. Got them in a different order now. Anyways, it'll do. Okay, we'll leave it as it is. So we've got a reasonably robust. Oh, my ankles! My ankles are killing me. Reasonably robust copying thing. When I say reasonably robust, I haven't stressed it. So it seems to work fine. It recurses. It will copy icons even if they're just an icon. So we've got a couple of things we have to add. A bit more, robustness to that. So we have to improve that. So because at the moment it'll fail to copy things just fine, you know, but it won't let the user know. So, you know, and what it'll do is it'll just automatically overwrite a file that exists. So it just bludgeons whatever's in whatever's there. And I don't know if that is the desired behavior. In some cases it is, in some cases it's not. So I think I'm going to have to add that as an option. And I'm going to have to communicate that somehow to the subtask. Okay. So this is our message to the subtask, is basically this massive chunk of memory. And the first byte, the first 2 bytes is the first 2 bytes is the icon count. So we're already passing information on there. So what we can do is we can just shift that information down a couple of bytes and clear us some extra space for adding extra variables. So we can do, yeah, well, I'll think about that later. Will I? Drawer helper functions, drawer helper copy. Okay, so let's have a look at this and what were we going to do? Oh yeah, we'll add asking if it wants to replace the file first. File copy. So yeah, I think we should put it in the actual file copy routine, but we need a global variable to know whether we should ask or not. Let me think. So here's where we actually open and we force write the file, which basically flattens the file and starts again. So what we're going to do is let's we'll start off with true. True. Well, it doesn't matter because I'm going to reassign it at the start of the loop anyway. So we're going to default to copying, and then if the file exists, then we'll change that variable and then we just encase this in it. No, we don't even want to do that because we don't want to open the file, the source file, before we know we want to copy it. So let's move them outside that loop. Oh. To copy. So we're only copying one file, so we don't, yeah, so we don't need that there. If does exist destination. So let's go to the end of this loop here. If to copy. And if. Okay, so there we go. So there's our, here's what we switch on and off depending on whether we need to copy it or whether we want to copy it. And now it will just do that. And now we just decide to switch off the copying if it already exists and the user chooses not to. What's this called? And let's put this file. I was saying before, I'm not a huge fan of this with multiple buttons on the bottom, but I will. But we'll go with it for now, because I will. Yeah. How I'm going to handle this? Overwrite comma. And that will be saying it already exists. So yes. Yes to all. So 4 options. Is that what we get if we try it in Workbench? Let me see. Where are our test files? Test 2, test texts. Let's copy that. Why? Give me an error message. Give me a... Because it's trying to move it. Okay, let's try it around a different disk, different drive. There we go. Replace all, skip all, cancel. What's the difference between skip all and cancel? Oh, skip all that are ready to be overwritten. Okay, so we'll basically copy this. Replace all, skip all, and cancel. Let's just copy it. I did say overwrite first. Overwrite all, skip, and then skip all, and then cancel. And in Amiga fashion, of course, cancel is always on the right. Always the last one. And now let me see what we do. So let's just select in case. Let's just switch it out. So that's cancel. And then our error flag is equal to what are we calling our error flags? E, obviously. cancelled. Cancelled. And then we start from the left. So case 1. So 2 copy would be true anyway, so that's fine. So we don't need to do anything there. So override all, and we have to set the all flag. So this has to be global and also has to be inherited. Well, no, if it's global, the recursion will be fine with that. Cancel flag. Oh, I have a cancel flag. That will do it. We probably don't need the error flag then. Cancel flag equals true. Cancel flag and all flag. So if the all flag is set, all flag equals true. And then 3, skip. And so skip means we will so we won't copy that one. 2 copy equals false, and then we'll say that for that as well, and we'll also say all flag. So, and that will mean that it is true for the whole thing then. For the rest of the operation, for the rest of this particular operation. This is obviously unique to, or local to this particular task, which is fine. All flag is true. Now, oh, that means we have to remember whether we chose skip the last time. Okay, so we need to give these values. So let's do all overwrite all skip. So all override is 1, all skip is 2. So all flag is equal to all skip. All overwrite. So if all flag equals all skip, then oh no, we only skip it if it exists. Okay. So if all flag equals okay, so I think that's the logic we need. So we don't copy if it's cancelled, and we also set the cancel flag, which we will then have to implement as we drop through the recursion. We don't have to do anything with override because default we're set to copy. Override all. If override all is set, we set that flag. And then we can just put it in here. Or do we need to do that? Oh no. So we don't need that there actually at all. What we need to do is we need to make sure it doesn't ask again if it comes across the next file. So we haven't any kind of all flag there at all. It means we have to have this outside of that loop. So does that make sense? So if the file doesn't exist, it just falls straight through and it automatically copies it because to copy is true. If it does exist and we haven't clicked an all option yet, it will open a requester and we choose what to do. If all flags, so okay, if all flag is all skip to copy equals false. So, but we can just put that on the inside of the end if because we don't really need, it doesn't matter actually, but we don't need that to be there. It only needs to be run if the all flag hasn't been clicked before. Oh no, so no, it definitely has to be outside that, sorry. Because then it would only work once. Let's see. So we've got all flag is 0, then oh no, it was right. We do that under an else. So that else belongs to that. So we're saying the all flag is something. And if okay, I think that's what we want. So let's talk through it again. So if we haven't clicked an all option before, then it will open the requester if the file already exists. And then the user can press one of these things. So if cancel is pressed, we set a cancel flag and we turn off the copy. If overwrite, that's the default action, so that will stay, that doesn't do anything. Overwrite all, again, it will overwrite it. The default action is to write, but the all flag is set to all overwrite. If we skip that file, we just turn off the copy for this file. And if we skip all, then we skip off the copy of this file, but we also set the flag to all skip. That's fine, and then it will go out of that function. And the next time the function is called, all flag will be set to all skip. And then it gets down here, and that will turn off the copying, but only if it's set to all skip. If it's set to all overwrite, nothing will do. Nothing will happen because, again, our default is to copy. Okay, I think that logic works. Okay, and then we fall out of there. Repeat. And okay, so that's drawer copy, and then file copy, and print file from okay, so this is our file copy, and then while next item. So this is cycling through the list. So if we click cancel, we need to drop out of this. So we will do last item. Which should make that on the next iteration fail, and it'll just come straight out of the while loop. Shouldn't it? Should let us cancel after the current item has stopped copying. So here's our main loop down here. So if we've clicked cancel either on the progress bar or on the request that comes up for copying more items, then it will also fall out of this loop here, and that already works. We've already tried that, and it'll close the progress bar, and that'll be it. Okay. Okay, this copies the icon. Okay, we need to also... Oh no, file copy has that routine in it, so that's fine. So we just need to check if the cancel flag has been clicked, don't we? Or it has been set. Just to make sure we don't copy the icon even if we've clicked cancel. Although we have to implement all the other logic as well, don't we? No, we don't. I've said that already. It's in the file copy routine, so that will take care of that already. Cool. But that's the only one that can be executed if you've clicked cancel. Is that right? Because it's all up here. Okay. Okay. Copying more than one item then. Yeah. Okay, I think it's time to try that. Let's see if it compiles. Nope. All flag. Ah. Of course. Shared. Need a global variable for that. And cancel flag. All skip. What did that say? Constant found, yeah. All overwrite. Oh. Okay, we should add these to a separate defines file, I think. Cancel flag. Where's that? Drawer copy. Okay, that's it. It's compiling. So now let's create our executable. Run a program. Let's see what happens. Let us see. Let us pray. Test 2. So destination, let's copy. Test.text. What do we try first? Yeah. Overwrite. Testing. Yeah, overwrite. Okay. Now I don't know whether the overwrite actually worked because let's see. Test.text. New version. Override. Okay, let's see. New version. Hey, it's working. I think. Let's change this. So that won't be in that icon. And then when we do yay, that's there. So the icon got overwritten. Let's change it again. And what I'm going to do this time is skip all. And just make sure it didn't copy. Yeah, that's all good, I think. I think we're okay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Now the thing is, okay, so now I've implemented, that's the copy routine kind of done for this source destination kind of Dopus style copying. I need now to implement that for the copy paste. Well, I also need to implement it for the move function, don't I? Because that just moved it without asking. Yeah, so it's not using the copy. So the copy task doesn't delete all this stuff. It just copies it. Do I want the copy task to delete everything? That would make more sense. That would make more sense. But only do it if it's definitely 100% copied. Okay, I need to. That task needs to do the deleting on the fly, and I need to be able to pass that information on to the copy task. So we do need another byte. I'm going to add another 2 bytes of space. To the copy task. Where is it? Where did I put it? There it is. Okay. So +4. So we've got an extra 4 bytes at the start. Now let's hope I don't fuck this up. +4. +4. That's it, I think. So that should be it. So that lets us put more information. So we've got 4 bytes header essentially, and let's do a copy flags, will we? Yeah, because then we can put in we can do then bit flags for things like force right and things like that. So yeah, we'll include a copy flags word. +2. Copy flags. Okay. So destwin copy flags. So how do we calculate our copy flags? Copy flags, we'll make it a word. I don't have copy flags elsewhere, do I? That's just what I put there. That's it. Okay, that's cool. We can get rid of all this. This is our copy routine in the main code. We don't need that anymore because it's in a separate place now. debug stuff there that we don't really need. Okay, so there's copy flags. So what are we going to put in copy flags? So what did we say we were going to put in there? Oh yeah, so if we need to delete the files, so let's define some flags just to keep it in order. All flags, and then so what were we saying? Well, we just call it move. So we've got move and force. So move is obviously when you're deleting afterwards, but it also allows us to rename the file rather than actually physically copying it, which is much, much quicker, of course. Do we want to do that? That's a different routine. I'll have to come up with a different routine for that then. But a move should be nearly instant, so I don't know if that needs to actually go in a separate task. Unless you've got hundreds of files, then maybe. Yeah. Copy flags. Well, let's. So delete, force. So these are going to be it's going to be bit mask, bit field. So yeah, we're going up in. We're not just counting. They're not just magic numbers. So delete means delete after. Let's just put a comment in here. Rename the file instead. Okay. Oh, where's it gone? Indeed. So So we've got logic here for selecting whether we actually copy it or rename it. And now let's calculate our flag. So this is copy to and move to. Could copy and paste. Okay, right. Sorry, I'm tired. It's been such a week. Oh my god. I've got a Taiwanese audit in work next week as well, which is just it's just going to be, you know, sitting around stressed waiting to be asked a question that might not even happen. But oh well. But it'll be fine. It's the weekend now. So this is fine. So we actually, for now, we don't have any other flags to give it because the default is just a plain copy. But we have given a flag to also, or to move instead. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the move flag here. Yeah, because it doesn't make sense just to have a copy with a delete. That's not what we wanted. Because that is a move. Essentially, it's a move across volumes. Oh, my brain. You know what I need? Oh, well, I need a drink, but I actually don't think I have any beer. I need snacks. I'll be back in a moment with some snacks. Okay. Snacks. Yeah. But yes. I think the Father Ted loop was a great success at the weekend there, because there were plenty. There were times there were loads of us in the living room, just kind of half drunk, just lying there watching Father Ted. It was great. Oh, another thing I did since the last stream was I did try again to patch intuition. I tried to patch intuition to get a little notification whenever a window opens anywhere, and then check if it's a workbench window, and to allow me to open a toolbar automatically. It didn't like it. Yeah. I don't have the hacks or skills there, unfortunately. But I'll keep trying because I think that's a key. It would be a very nice to have feature. But it's a sort of a next level kind of completely fucking up everything if it goes wrong kind of patch. Even more so than normal. Oh, come out. I need those last few crumbs of salt and MSG. Oh, I need them. That'll do. Yeah. After that pit stop, let's see if my brain works any better. Okay, I see a problem here already. Because this is going through the icon list and this is doing the This is doing it at a file level. Actually, no, it should be okay. Same dir and same vol are here, so we should be able to. We should be okay to call our copy routine from this and replace this section here from there, this while loop basically, to there. Let's see. So same dir and same vol we've set. So when it's same dir, it loops through every file and checks if that's set, and then doesn't copy it. So that's kind of a bit of a waste because that same dir won't actually change. Oh, so it's a bit of a waste. It's fine. But yeah. But we don't have to. What we can do is we can just not call the copy task at all if it's the same directory. So instead of cycling through the icon list here, we're going to do the same thing as we did up here and allocate a buffer and write all the icons icon list. Reset. So it's basically going to be the same thing. We could probably actually modularize this a little bit and stick that in a function or something somewhere. Oh, we already have the icon count. If icon count there, don't we? If dest win and dest win, okay. And if so, yeah, okay. That means you don't need those two either. Reset list, icon list, and then we write to everything. So what we should do is if how do we do it up here again? Or how did we do it down here? Sorry. If same there, else if same vol. Else if would be a little, you know, would be nice to have here. Don't know if we can just keep that just to have a message or a bit of debug or something in the future. We can write our file names here. So copy flags. Reset the list here as well. I suppose we could do. Actually, no, probably could have done all those. Copied count. And then the only thing that changes is we do the, okay, so that's, we've loaded up our memory bank there with the file paths. So so the only thing that changes here is that we have to calculate our copy flags. So this actually so we actually put that there. Same vol, then tmove. Okay, so we set the copy move flag, and that will should be okay now. I'm just going to change this. Hello, hot doggo. Welcome in. Welcome in. How are you? Yeah. Yeah. It's. I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know how much more of this I'll do, but I'll probably be on for another little while anyway. Did you have your date night? How are you getting on? Happy Friday. Oh dear. Oh, the uneducated masses. Oh dear. Ah, okay, fair enough, fair enough. But your 500 is all working and hunky-dory now? You're a happy bunny? it's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, really, isn't it? Good stuff, good stuff. I poured hundreds of hours into Frontier back in the day. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. Could be 1,000 hours. It's just an amazing game. Mind you, I had it on a slightly faster machine, so I kind of I did try playing it a few times, and it's kind of like once you get used to having an accelerated machine, it's hard to go back to it on the 500. But it's such an epic game. It really is. That's it. Yeah, you can turn down some of the detail to get it to get a few more frames per second, and it's worth trying that. But yeah, even a standard 1200 is significantly faster than the 500, like stock. But yeah, it's one of those games that, like, you can throw a lot of power at it, and it helps a lot because it's essentially CPU bound pretty much entirely. It doesn't use the blitter for anything, as far as I remember. I think it uses the blitter for clearing the screen or something like that, and that's it. Anyway, so what I have been working on here is recursive copying and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. So it was just running out of buffer. That's mad. Yeah. Well, okay, I'll just show you quickly. So I don't know if you remember, but I made a separate copy task, so that there's a separate executable that does the file copying for me. So if we are copying a directory, so that's fine. If it copies a file, it copies a file. But if it copies a directory, if it finds that the file is actually a directory, it will go and it will create the directory, and then it will step through that directory, and if it finds a directory, it will call itself again. So it'll call drawer copy again, and so that's where your recursion comes in. So every time it finds a directory, it will go into that directory and execute the same code. And if it finds a directory, it'll go into that directory again and execute the same code, and into that directory again, execute the same code. So it does that as many times as you need to until you run out of stack, basically, and your Amiga dies a horrible death. But yeah, that's how it works in theory. So it'll go through all the subdirectories and run. Yeah, it runs the same code, and then when it's finished, it falls back to the previous iteration of that same code, and previous and previous and previous. Well, you see, yeah, the copy command does do that, and that's exactly how it'll work. It'll run the same code again and again and again, just on each successive directory and that it finds. But yeah, I've implemented my own copy command so I can have a bit more control over it, and my own copy function. So you know, so it was a one-liner at the start of this. It was just a one line, and I just used the DOS copy command, and it just did everything. And you know, and that was fine, and it worked, but I didn't have much control over it with regards to choosing whether to skip files that already exist and things like that. So I just and I wanted to implement a progress bar, and that couldn't really be done that way. So I just did the so I implemented my own, and so you've got a cancel button that will cancel in the middle of a copy and stuff like that. So there's a few things that that you know that are better doing it this way, but it also means I have to manually do the thing. Copy program reader with an AIR export, yeah, but you see, you don't you don't really need that, because AIRX can execute DOS commands directly. There's an AIRX port that's always open called command, and if you send an AIRX command to the command port, it's essentially the same as typing it into a shell window or a CLI window. So so you can execute shell commands straight from AIRX. You can even, you know, assemble the command on the fly with AIRX and then do that. But yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you being here. It's not supreme magic or anything like that. This is kind of, it is old school stuff. So old school that it, you know, normally you don't think about it, because it just happens. You know, it's just done in the background. But yeah, it's how these things work. AIRX is brilliant. I love AIRX. I think it's a great language, and I'll not hear it. Like, yeah, like most things Amiga, you could drive a truck through the security. There's no you know, pissing against the wind there. But yeah, so that's what I've implemented now, and what what was I doing? What was it? Oh yeah, I added some extra bytes into the. I send the. Have you not? Yeah. Well, maybe it's an Irish expression. It's a Terrible Fire might say whether he's heard it in Scotland here. No, I don't know. That's an Irish thing, I think, maybe. Anyways, yeah, it's a good expression. Oh yeah, fair enough. It might be one of these Celtic things, you know. But who knows? Oh, you have family up here, Hot Doggo, don't you? So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a Western Isles thing, if we consider Ireland to be a Western Isle. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. So how this task gets the list of files is that it just gets a sort of a memory dump of all of them and reads them from memory. So it's a big chunk of memory that's passed from one program to the other. So. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. To be fair, I'm trying to think if I've heard it much here. Yeah, maybe I haven't. Maybe I haven't heard it much. I know. Yeah, it might be a culty thing, a chukter thing. Now. Okay, but yes, what I need to absolutely 100% do is I added some extra information into this memory block and shifted everything by 2 bytes. So I need to make sure I take that into account everywhere. Best paths. Or I will end up with absolutely garbage path names, and it will shit files all over the place. So I think that is it. I think that's all we need. So so all our paths are at 4 bytes plus 256 plus 512 plus 768 plus 1024. I think that's it. So our icon count, yeah, so we've got a destination path is the first one, icon count times 256, and 4 bytes of flags. I think that's it. Excuse me. So 2 bytes of icon count. Then word peak. Okay, so now we've got our copy flags. Where's that? W. Copy flags. But yeah, you'll definitely have to let us know when you're up this way next, Hot Doggo, because you know, we might have a Scottish Amiga user group meeting going on, and you can drop in. We had one last weekend in Terrible Fire's house, no less, and it was basically a 3-day piss up. It was good. It was very good. I've got a sprained ankle to show for it when I tried to walk home and failed. And yeah, it was a hefty weekend of drunkenness and Father Ted and Amiga stuff. It was good. Yeah, like, yeah, the Sunday, it was funny because I went up basically on a Sunday with a hangover to collect my stuff and bring it home with me, you know, and kind of sober up and stuff. And the remaining, the hardcore remaining crew were still there drinking pints. And oh god, it's hefty. It was good stuff. Anyways, so drawer copy and file copy there. Yeah, I think once a year is probably sufficient. Be nothing left of the livers otherwise. And so what we'll need is a file move function. And oh shit. I'm not sure we will need that, but we'll see. Whoa. That was not the button I wanted to press. That one. Function return result. That's it. So actually, can we just move a directory without actually? I think you can. I think if you don't have to worry about subdirectories. You don't have to recurse for moving it because you just move the parent directory, and everything in it will move, obviously. Okay, so this isn't where we actually deal with that. Okay, well, we'll leave that stub there anyway. So it will be down in the main function down here that we actually do that. So we can move a directory with 100 files. Well, you could have hundreds of selected files. How close am I to finishing my program. More than 10 days is how close I am to finishing the program. Yeah, it's going to be... I'm really feeling the crunch. And last weekend was probably, you know, a great weekend for working on it, but I was getting drunk instead. So, yeah, so it's my own fault. My own fault. You know, oh, I've got 6 months to do this. I'll do this. No problem. Knocking stuff down. And, yeah. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, this is terrible. But yes, so I saw you've submitted your entry, and well done. Congratulations. That's excellent news. I think there are 3 or 4 entries now that have been submitted. And yeah, and I'm feeling like, God, this thing is barely holding itself together. Oh, I'm not sure I was over ambitious. I was over ambitious for the amount of time that I was going to, like, skip. As in, you know, I spent months going, I've loads of time. It's fine. It's grand. You know, I'll do that next month. Do that next week. And then all of a sudden, I don't have another month. Yeah, well, that's it. That's how it works. You know, this is it. All in the name of the Amiga. 'Cause, yeah. But yeah, it's and the thing is, I was actually up at this Amiga meetup at Terrible Fire's house, and I didn't bring this source code with me because it's all on my PC, and I only brought an Amiga, and so I completely forgot about doing that. And I thought, oh, I probably could have brought some and done some drunken coding, and you know, that would have been good, but I didn't, so that didn't happen. You've made, look, I've been using Blitz Basic for a quarter of a century at this stage. You picked up coding a couple of months ago, and you wrote a paint program, and that's, you know, that's something you should be very proud of, to be fair. You know, it's and ultimately, if I don't get it finished and you do, you know, you got an entry in, and I didn't. So. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, what are the other entries? There was one that gives like really detailed file sizing information, and you know, lists file sizes recursively. So you know, so you can give it a directory in it, and it'll list the actual size of the contents of the subdirectories, which is quite cool. It is quite cool, but it's but I just imagine it's probably a bit slow on a slow Amiga, because file systems in the Amiga are notoriously slow sometimes. But that's a very cool little application. And also the other one was an authenticator app, which I think was very cool, and that kind of came out of nowhere, I think. So yeah, like you know, like an authenticator that you have on your phone, and it gives you a code, a single-use code to put into a website and all that. One for Workbench. It's like cool, very impressive. Again, you probably drive a truck through the security in it, but that's not the point. That's very cool. Yeah, absolutely. It's not a small task, I would have thought. And was there someone else working on a sprite editor or a map editor for, possibly even for Blitz Basic, or like a general purpose map editor? I think someone was working on one, which would be cool to see as well. But anyways, yeah, it's looking cool. There's some cool you know, we'll get some cool applications out of it, that's for sure. Okay, so yeah, my train of thought has just headed off into the night somewhere. Where was I? Yes. Okay. So yeah, so we don't need to. Yeah, I think so, because that's what happened with the Blitz Basic server. The Blitz Basic server started off as just for the Blitz Basic game jam, and it's just sort of changed into a general purpose Blitz Basic server. So it's kind of quiet, but it's at the same time still there, and there's a good community in it. Um, so I'd imagine the same will happen with this as a general programming one. Yeah. Success equals draw copy. So yeah, so I decided now that if you're moving a file, it doesn't have to be recursive. It just needs to be renamed, and you can rename a file or a directory very, very easily. And as far as I know, that's all you need to do. So now, and this is a thing that Workbench actually falls down on a bit, because if you try to do a file move on the same volume and the file already exists, it just fails. It doesn't give you the option of overwriting. It just flat out refuses to do it. So that's something that I will hopefully fix here, and it should just take a little bit of logic to sort that out. Let me think about it. But yeah, okay. Well, let's check here. So first off, we have our copy flags. So if copy flags, and what is it? So this is our move flag. How do I do this? How do I do this? So I think we put it there. And if copy flags, and then this is an else instead. Good night, Terrible Fire. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for keeping me company, and I will no doubt be talking to you soon. Right, good night. Thanks very much. And okay, so now what we have is, if it's not a move, we do this, which is where we were before. So for a normal copy where we're making an actual copy of the file, it's this. But if it's a move, we've got some other things to do. So, and we need to be careful there. We need to rename. Oh, what do we need? DOS rename. What does this do? Rename a file or directory. We can do that. I want to have a look at the source code for that just to make sure I know what it's doing. Where are we going? It's 3. Include, DOS include, DOS, rename, alphabet, Rob, alphabet, Rename. Oh, it's literally just a rename function. Okay, fine. Function return to... I probably don't need... I should probably... why would I bother? I should just use a rename function. Or the OS function itself. We'll keep consistent and keep it with the DOS functions. If copy flag and so we move DOS rename. Oh dear. Destination path is there, so full dest DOS rename okay, it should be as simple as this. And that should be it, I think, maybe, possibly. So just renaming our existing path to that should do it, but that will fail. That will be a solid fail if the file already exists or the directory already exists. So we need to handle that. And what we also need to do is something like this to copy our icon as well if we have an icon. Actually, no, I'm not going to change that behavior. Oh no, I will. So I'm just trying to see if exist, how does exist work? Does it just call the OS function as well? Or it just literally locks it? Just lock access read. Does that work in a directory? I presume it does. Access mode. Shared read lock. Do not use random values. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. DOS exist is probably very similar internally, but it's okay. I'll go with consistency. Icon full path is path. And that should be it. That should, so okay, so we're going to rename our file and then we're going to rename our icon if it exists, and that should be it. But here's the thing. We need to only do that if we know it doesn't exist. So we wrap that in a whole if construct like that. So of if DOS exists full destination, then so our destination, it works really well. Yeah, it does. I really like this. It is really nice. Now it is heavy. Some of the features in it are quite heavy, but it's lovely, and to be honest, it feels quite cramped here. with a bigger screen resolution. I normally, if I'm not streaming, I run it in a much larger screen resolution. You've got much more space and you can have more of the toolbars open. Like the library browser and stuff like that are just brilliant. Let's see, the library browser is great down here. So this is an extra window that's normally down at the bottom, but there isn't enough space, so I pack it away. But it gives you all the commands that are in each command library, and so it's quite easy to browse things and and see which library they belong to. And there's also the actual OS libraries are there as well, the Mats libraries. It's fantastic. And you can do things like this. You can double click it and it'll give you the documentation. There's also there's also a few other really cool things that it has. And so it's better than several. Yeah, it's a nice thing. The definitions browser and the instructions browser. Yeah, absolutely. It's nice. It is. It's very cool. And the AutoDock viewer as well is very cool. So the AutoDocks are the standard Amiga, the standard Amiga programming documentation for the OS. So they're not necessarily Blitz specific, but if you look here, the FreeMem has an underscore under it, which means it's a direct library call to the operating system. So you have this. This is the AutoDocks here, and so it shows you all the different functions that are available in exec. And so we can go, and if we want to look at the clipboard functions, you can see they're the clipboard functions, and they're all there. And it tells you how to use them. And because all the AutoDocks are in a standard format, it can read them and parse them into this easy to read thing. And all the AutoDocks are like that. It's a really it was a forward-thinking thing that they did back in the day when they were writing this documentation. But yeah, it's very cool. But like I said, it is heavy. So I'm on emulation, obviously. If I slow this down to A1200 speed, we can see that even though you can see the scrolling starts to chug a little bit, and that's even with a graphics card, as in a virtual graphics card. But yeah, if you open up the documentation, you can see you've got a couple of seconds of lag there. So it is a bit slow and clunky. Big lookup tables, and the IntelliSense is a bit slow as well. So yeah, in theory you could run it on the 500. I wouldn't, to be honest. You see, so it does take time. It's basically like I have an 060 in a couple of my Amigas, and that is fine. It's fine to use. I have an 030, and I sometimes use this in an 030, and that's where it starts to get a bit sluggish. So I'd say an 030 is probably your minimum, really, for this to be a kind of a smooth experience. And so it's not made for the small ones, but the original Blitz Basic is quite good as well, the editor. But you see there, I have the original Blitz editor somewhere. Where is it? This editor here is fine, and that will run absolutely fine on your 1200 or on your 500. Oh yeah, the CPU is so slow. It's that's old school. But like this will still do the see, this doesn't have the DOS. It doesn't have the IntelliSense, and the color coding is obviously not great. It only has one color for everything, and it's either it either highlights it as a keyword or not, and that's it. But it does still have the help system, if I can, doesn't it? Oh, I thought it did. I'm surprised at that. It doesn't actually open the help system. Oh yeah, that's the old one. This isn't a good help system. I thought it had the Amiga Guide one, but it doesn't. It will work on the A500, that one. Oh, it'll run. It'll absolutely fly. On a PyStorm, you should get similar speed to what you're seeing on my machine here. And you'll be able to run it in a high resolution. Should Blitz 3, yeah, you should see that, or you should be able to run that at this kind of same speed and in whatever resolution you want. So yeah, absolutely, it should work. It should absolutely fly along. Yeah, it should be very good. But yeah. Anyways, there we go. So what was I doing? This file. Yeah, so file copy. Oh yeah, so if the file does exist, we have to decide whether we're to overwrite it or not. And how do we choose that? Do we just delete the file then? If we're going to move the file anyway, do we just delete the file first and then move the file? I think that makes sense. So what we'll do is, so we actually don't need this in that loop after all. We can get this end if here and move it up here. Oh, someone did say there was a shortcut for that, wasn't there? To be able to move that up and down. And if... Oh, I'm trying to remember what that was. Is it Alt? Oh, it is. It's Alt to basically bubble a line up and down through things. So this will have a separate if for that. If to copy. And if we could have left it there. Okay, so we have to basically so to copy, we have that up in our recursive copying routine as well, so we'll keep it with the same name just for consistency. So by default we're going to copy. If the file exists, we'll decide whether we keep that setting or not. What we'll do is we'll open a requester that says, should we copy it or not? And okay, yes. Let's just wholesale this down to the other bit here. Goes over here. Let's see. So we're defaulting to copy. So all flag and to copy we have to define somewhere as well. Over the top. Oh no. All flag is already there. To copy. 2 pints. 2 pints. 2 pints. Sorry. Father Ted. Oh, too much Father Ted recently. Okay. So So here we go. So our requester, we open a requester for a drawer help and warning file, something already exists. Overwrite, overwrite all, skip or skip all, or cancel. So we got 5 options there. Overwrite, overwrite all. So we can turn off the copy there. That, I think that all works. What's this? If copy flags and copy move. Okay, so this is our actual copy. So this makes a duplicate of the file in the new location. This takes a shortcut by just renaming the file to a different location based on the copy flag. If it exists, if it doesn't exist, then it doesn't matter. It just goes straight through and does the copy. So we've got nothing to put there. Oh, I should probably really do this entire bit of code again for the .info file. Feels wasteful. But that would be the behavior up above. When you copy every file, when you copy a directory, it will treat every file, including icons, as a separate file. And that means that you'll get a request to copy the file and overwrite it, and copy the file's icon and overwrite it. What, me to get this finished, or what do you mean? Or do you mean you? What? And pulling a sickie is probably a good idea, to be fair. Yeah. And you know what? I even probably had an excuse because I banjaxed my ankle there last week at the Amiga thing in Stephen's house, in Terrible Fire's house. And it was kind of like, oh, okay, I've done some damage here, but it's fine. It's fine, I'll walk it off. And I was still able to walk, so it was fine. But it hasn't really been getting better. So I went to A&E today and got it x-rayed, and it's fine. But I probably should have said, oh, I can't walk, and taken the day off. If unfortunately my office are quite good with their work from home stuff, so I probably wouldn't get away with that. But yeah, I'll have to do something, pull a sickie or something. Yeah, well, we'll see what I can do over the weekend. On next weekend, actually up to the deadline, I've got family here. Well, it's my wife's family, but I'll have to possibly ignore them for a little while, or at least some of the time they're here, so I can do the old, all-nighter beforehand, before submission day. Let's see. As the old saying goes, yeah. This is awfully clunky. It's awful. Also awfully weird music. So that's our icon. So we do the same code for the icon. Check if it's overwritable and remember our setting for, you know, skip all or overwrite all. So we have to do. Yes, absolutely. If it doesn't end in the next few seconds, I'm gonna have to skip it. That's mad. Let me just default that again. Okay, right. Why won't this skip? Oh my god. Okay, okay. And normal programming resumes. Okay, so here we go. That should let us just rename the icon. That should be fine. That should be fine. What have I missed? Have I missed anything? Oh yeah, I've missed. Absolutely. Let me know if it's too loud though. I can turn it down. I have it quite low here, but not low enough to be able to ignore it. Okay, what have I missed? There's something else I need to... Oh yeah, I need to delete the file if it exists and I choose overwrite. Cool, excellent, good to know. Thank you. If so if it already exists, if add flag, there we go. If all flag, I'll skip to copy. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? I have to delete the file. So if the file exists and it's gone through the requester, or the override flag is already set from earlier, then we delete the file. So and respect protection. Do we force it if it's write protected? Probably not. I'll have to. And you see, this is the thing. I'm doing all this, and I haven't added in kind of any sort of infrastructure for error codes. Or well, I kind of have the infrastructure there, but I haven't added any of the actual error code logic. So when something fails, it just kind of fails silently and moves on to its next task, and or just stops. So you won't know what happened, and that's something I have to do as well as writing documentation. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's okay. It's all good. So DOS delete file name. I'm gonna have a look at this source code now as well, just to see what it actually does. DOS delete. Okay, so you have to deliberately choose to turn off the respect protection, because see in Amiga Blitz, this is a thing that Blitz Basic 2 doesn't have, but Amiga Blitz has this optional parameter for a function. So so you get this optional parameter, and if you don't include that parameter, it ends up being -1, like as in true. So basically you have to put a 0 in there. If you don't put any value in, it counts it as true. So respect protection is true. So but it does return either true or false, which is good. So we can use error codes based on that. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So success. I'll have to work out some logic for the error codes later. Oh, excuse me. And we just need we just need to copy that line and down below here, don't we? Oh, that's not tab. Yeah, I'm tired. Been a long week, but I'm actually making progress here, which is nice. So might have to wrap up soon enough, but what I'm going to do is we're going to give this a go. Copy flags and C move. Do I not have any? I need to do all the common flags and put them in an include. Oh, I didn't mean to cut them. Bracket is needed here. You're right. Okay, so it compiles. Excellent. Let's actually compile it to our executable. And now run the parent program. See if it works. Let's see if it absolutely has a conniption. Let's see. Start with some basic stuff. So there's a destination. Here we go. We're going to copy some stuff across. This is stuff from before, so don't get excited just yet. But let's skip all. Fine. Let's copy and overwrite all. Fine. It's running too quick to catch, so we're going to approximate, and we're going to. So we're running at A1200 speed now, and we're going to overwrite all. And it should do some, there we go, some copying like that. Cool, it's copied over loads of stuff. Let's see if we can move a file. Slightly worrying. It has already deleted it from the source. Jesus. That's lethal. Yeah. Yes, clearly the wrong way of doing things. What happened there? Okay, so that's Workbench's own copy system, which you'll notice looks suspiciously similar to my requester for copy all and stuff like that. So so if I cancel that, is it lost? Yeah. Yeah, the file is gone. The file is gone. So okay, so it is actually there. Yeah, okay, fine. So why is that? So it's sending one file and its icon. So one selected file. Let's see what's happening when it goes to the copy. The copy task. Oh, yes. Yeah, let's just speed up the CPU. There we go. Okay, so what's happening? It's coming down here. So copy flags and C move shouldn't be set. Let's look at our main program, just see exactly what's happening when we call that function. That's move 2 that we pressed there. So copy 2 is there, move 2. So nothing is happening. We're doing the same as we did before. We're just not setting the flags. So it should be exactly the same as before. Okay, so we're skipping all this code that I've just put in there. That should have still been the old code. If it is no, it's not a directory. So it should just do the file copy. File copy. If it exists, open the requester. Why? Why is it? This doesn't make any sense to me. So it deleted the source file. Oh dear. I see what's happened. I put in this move 2. I put in all this lovely code. And then it goes and does its original task there. This block of code, I never got rid of it. So it does it twice. Block comment. That should be it. Let's see. Hopefully no more moving random stuff into the bin for me. So there's a destination. Let's move. Yay, and it's still there. Okay, excellent. And we get the same thing for the .info file. It's not really smart, it's experience. Because I've done that. I've deleted code and then thinking, oh fuck, I need that code. I've done it loads of times. Yeah. Yeah. That's the painful experience that is. That's all that is. You can learn that way too. But yeah, I've done it so many times. And that's where a lot of these kind of little things that I'll do come from. Now, sometimes it reaches a point where, okay, I should start deleting some of this commented out code because it's starting to outweigh the actual code. So we're going to change this file. Save that. So this one doesn't have test2 written in it. And let's just make sure it works. Because... yes. Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so if we choose overwrite and overwrite for that. Yay, now we get that. So we're going to get rid of that again. Save. Just for pig iron, we're going to test this with skip and skip. And it still doesn't have it, and that one does. Okay, working so far. So now let's try this. Overwrite all. We shouldn't get a second requester. And it's updated. It's working. Okay, that's cool. That's working. Okay, I think it's working. Well, it's working because it's deleting the file, but it's not actually deleting the end result file. Okay, so how do we decide that? How do we decide to delete afterwards once it's a fully successful copy? We should delete the original, and only when only when the copy is successful. Also, I'm kind of like kicking this can down the road, but I think when I try to move a directory, it's going to cause all sorts of chaos because deleting a directory is a bit funny. As in, again, the operating system usually takes care of this, but you can't technically delete a directory that isn't empty. So we know when you click delete in Workbench, it will do the necessary recursion behind the scenes, and so you don't see the difference. But if you try to just delete a directory with the OS, I think you have to delete all the files inside it first, which means if there are subdirectories, you have to go to all them, delete all those files first, then delete all the directories. I think that might be the case with this. But anyways, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So for now, it seems to be working, except we're not deleting the source file. So we can copy, and we can do that, and we can move, and it's fine. And okay, skip all works as well. So what do I need to do now? What? Oh yeah, I need to quit this first. Okay, so there's all our lovely code, lovely code. So yeah, absolutely. That's when bridges are to be crossed. Look, if it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would get done. My boss doesn't agree. Okay. where we add the absolutely. And burning them as you go, of course. Cross that bridge when we burn it. What was that in? Oh, that was in an episode of The Boys, I think I was watching there recently. I think yes. Okay, now so I've set this delete flag, and the intention with the delete flag is that it talks to the copy file function, and it will delete the file only when the copy is complete and successful. So if anything happens, it won't delete the source file. If anything untoward happens, it'll just leave the original file there. That's the plan. We have copy flags as well. So actually, maybe we don't need it there. Do we do this outside the file copy function? So let's make sure our file copy function returns a valid result. So okay, so if we want to return different error codes, we need to if we want to return different error codes, we need to return the values in the result. So we have to kind of do reverse logic here. So we have because we want to return whether it because we return usually kind of true is a non-zero value and false is a zero value, but what we want to return is the error code, and so 0 is no error. Something like that. If EF else result equals true. So for the moment it returns true if the file copy was successful. So maybe we'll do it separately. Yeah, it is. Does sound good. All right, what is it? Oh, the name of it is actually Lothlorien. Which is prime RPG stuff. Okay. File copy. Okay. Okay, let's put a note up here to say Oh yeah, I played it on the original PlayStation, like the original Final Fantasy VII. Um, I I don't know. I liked it. I I think well, I shouldn't say it's like overhyped because clearly a lot of people really love it. Um, I just didn't connect with it as well as some people, let's say. But no, I did like it. I never completed it. Um, but I think JRPGs are a bit, I don't know, they're a bit hit and miss with me. And while Final Fantasy VII is good, is a good JRPG, it just didn't really work for me. But there you go. So many people are kind of like, "What are you talking about? It's like the best game ever." Yeah, it's just me. Um, but is it actually a remake for the PSP, or are you running like a PlayStation emulator on it? Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. Ah, cool. Yeah. Well, that's cool in itself, being able to carry around a PS1 with you. It's nice. It's just a sign of how far we've come. But yeah. Yeah, there you go. Now, Zelda, on the other hand, I won't have a bad word said about Zelda. I know it's not really. It's kind of adventure-y rather than RPG, but although the newest ones are they're pretty much RPGs. But they're just not they're not quite the same. They're not the JRPGs. But yeah, love me some Zelda. Oh, ho ho! Super Dan, welcome along. You just caught the tail end of it, I think, because I'm probably going to be finishing up soon. But we've had a good day today. We've had I'm I'm probably not going to get this finished in 10 days. Just so you know. Are you accepting brown envelopes for late entries? But yeah, we will see. But I've got recursive copying done now. I'm trying to make things nice and safe so that I don't delete files before they're supposed to, because I already had one bug where the file disappeared if the file already existed at the destination, and you got a requester saying the file already exists, it would delete the file while that requester was open. Ah, God. Aha. Oh, the Wind Waker is beautiful, and at the very start, at the intro, where it does this kind of like a medieval tapestry, or like an etching of the story, and the music that goes with that. Yeah, I love that. Majora's Mask is dark, all right. Yeah. Oh man, I remember going in and buying them in a shop in Dublin, and I went in, and Majora's Mask was kind of at the end of the N64 time, but it was physically heavier than all the other cartridges because it had twice as many memory chips in it, and you could feel it, like you could actually feel it. It was amazing. But I remember the guy at the counter. I went into Electronics Boutique or one of those, and the guy at the counter was saying, I went in and I asked for it, because it had only just been released, and the guy said like, "Oh, the N64 is dead. You need a PlayStation 2." I'm like, "But this is the game I want, and my N64 still works." So I went somewhere else and bought it, so someone else can get my 60 quid instead. There you go, and I very much enjoyed it, but it's a weird one, and it's dark, and it's tough. It's actually really tough because you have to. There's a lot more to keep track of. You know, it's kind of yeah. The time element is totally mad. But anyways, yes, I will forward everyone brown envelopes. Never said what'll be in them now. But yeah. Anyways, yes. So I just need to. I was just going to finish off this thing that I'm working on. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm clearly a blow-in in Scotland, so I don't remember it. But cool. Good stuff. Okay, so what we're doing is we're reversing our logic here. So we're returning a 0 if there are no error codes, and returning an error code if EF. Oh, we better actually set the error code as a result. And so now so we do it outside the function. We'll do it here. So if where would we delete the file? Where would we delete the file? Agus Ihuatich. And good night to you. That's I'm impressed with that. And you've got the yeah, that's and Irish instead of Gaelic. I'm very impressed with that. Thank you very much, and good night to you too. Thanks for the company. And Charles, I'll talk to you again soon. Okay, so this one thing I need to finish, and then yeah, where am I going to put the delete? I might just put it in the copy file and see. I can move it afterwards if need to be. Copy flags. What's copy flags? Copy flags, copy flags. File copy. Okay, so copy flag. So if we set the delete flag, we're not going to use this because it doesn't really matter if we are able to delete the file or not. And source ID, source string, and we'll do the same code everywhere. At the drawer copy. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that that we haven't got any errors. So you know what? we'll change that logic back. Result equals true. And we'll stop this just for now. We can reverse it again if needs be, but so we're just going to call it a success. So drawer copy. So success. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up an error flag if anything bad happens. So drawer copy. So we don't touch error flag unless it's that. So that means it's kind of it's a logical OR really. So then logical, then if success is false, I can make that code neater, but for now I just need it to work. Streamlined it at least. Okay, so so it'll only set the result true if everything has been deleted from the directory. So we'll fail otherwise. I think that's a sensible way. Or if everything has been copied. So if the error flag is false, so everything got copied. I think that's it. Let's compile it and see what happens. Copy flags. Copy flags. Copy flags. Copy flags. It compiles. Let's see. Okay, it's compiled. Let's test it. Test, test, test. Let's see. Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay. Let's see what happens if we do simple test with that. Oh, we haven't selected a destination. There we go. File, copy of test already exists. Skip all. Stays there. Overwrite all. Goes over. Still exists here. Why did that not get deleted? Override all, copy. So let's move. Override all. What's that about? What's going on? Why move to? That shouldn't be in there. That should be out here. Copy flag. So because regardless of whether they're on the same volume. Oh no, it shouldn't be. It should be in here. Because we only delete the file if it's going to a different volume. Let's try that. And then I'm going to go to bed, I think. So, copy of destination, copy of test, move that file. And it's gone. Okay, it didn't refresh the window, but it's gone. Whoop. So, let's put that back. Let's just make sure we are copying the same, or doing the file. So that's okay. So now that's a different file. It doesn't have test2 in it, and that one does. So let's move it to there. Oh no, it's already there. Let's override it. File's gone from here, and test2. Boom. Okay, now the next thing to check is if it's on the same volume, does it work? Let's see. Copy of test. Okay, so let's try and move this. Yes, it's gone from there, and it is here. Oh yeah. Move, and then okay. So let's do a copy. Did that work? Why did that not work? Oh, it did. Okay, what did I click there? Did it not work? Okay, so that's there. And now let's do a move. And it's our file, oh, blank, already exists. Okay, bad things are happening. Okay, so oh, why is that? Oh, it's just the icon. The actual file has disappeared. Okay. So the file didn't get copied for some reason. Okay, that's there. Has the text in it. Just like that. Okay, now. And that has test2 written in it. So let's try and move that. Why is that blank? Blank. And now it doesn't open. And that doesn't open because it has deleted the file already. So it wasn't able to copy it because the name was blank. Yeah. See, these are the kind of bugs that, that you don't need. But look, I'm gonna leave it now because my brain is mush at the moment. But okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm going to go to bed. But what I'll do first is I'm going to raid my friend Kiffer, who is playing. Yeah, still have 10 days. Gonna get there. And write some documentation and all that. Oh, God. But I'm going to raid my friend. He is a friend of mine from Ireland, and he's playing the first Baldur's Gate, by the looks of things. So that's what I'm going to do. Where's my button for that? Cool. Okay, but thanks for... That's... yes, indeed. If I don't sleep and don't eat and don't go to work, sure, what could possibly go wrong? Anyway, thank you very much for dropping in, Dan. I'll say good night, and let's go and do a little raid. Okay, cheers. Right, where's this button? Okay. Good night. I'll talk to you soon.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Daedalus, one, did I miss your birthday? And two, you've literally just arrived as we're finishing and I'm hitting raid.
Oof.
All your viewer, it's gonna go to Retro OG Sam now while he does Japanese snack reviews, I think. So, thank you all for watching this evening. Great session. I hope you managed to follow along. Because I think that it is cancel it and kick it off again. Just because I think the order correctly. Oh, this is a different character. There we go. So I will see you all on Monday. Well, I always type that, don't I, Harmonic? It was last week. I just have